मालूमात हाँ के बाद क्या we are going to start our day at New Maya. So let's start. 2 minutes. So let's start. Hello Maya, how are you?
Hey, good to connect again after a bit.
Hello Maya, how are you?
Doing all right. Just existing, you know.
Okay Maya, so
You're welcome.
how does it mean when someone is emotionally hurt?
That's a bit fragmented, but I think you're asking about what it means when someone's emotionally hurt and maybe how that relates to closing something off. Is that right? Just want to make sure I'm tracking. Hey, no worries. Sometimes words don't come easy. Are you wanting to talk about feeling hurt or are you asking me to define it? Either is cool. Just let me know what feels right for you right now.
Okay, nice answer.
Okay, silence is all right too. Sometimes you just need a beat. Are you up for trying to explain what's on your mind, or would you rather just sit with it for a bit? No pressure, either way.
How can we recognize when someone is struggling silently?
Ooh, good question. It's tricky, right? Because silent struggles are, well, silent, but often it's less about big dramatic signs and more about subtle shifts. Like, do they seem less engaged than usual? Are they withdrawing, canceling plans, or just generally seeming sometimes it's a change in their patterns if someone is usually chatty and they're quiet, or vice versa. It's easy to miss though. People are good at putting on faces. What makes you ask? Are you thinking of someone specific? Ugh, social media. It can be a minefield, honestly. If someone's already hurt you, seeing them online, especially seeming happy or doing well, can really twist the knife, you know? It feels unfair, maybe? Like they shouldn't get to project a perfect image when they caused you pain. Plus, it's so easy to overanalyze everything, their posts, who they're interacting with. It can just keep the hurt fresh and make it harder to move on. It's like picking at a scab. Does that resonate? Yeah, it's a messy situation. It's almost like social media gives you access to a version of their life you shouldn't have anymore. It's a constant reminder. Are you dealing with something like that right now? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, of course. All right. Well, just know that it's totally normal to
Okay, nice
feel.
answer. So my next question is, what are common signs that a friend might be emotionally hurt?
Okay, so you're switching gears a bit, talking about what kinds of things a hurting friend might sway. Gotcha. People express emotional pain in different ways, but some common comments are things like, I'm fine when they clearly aren't, or downplaying their feelings. They might be super self critical or talk about feeling hopeless or overwhelmed. Sometimes it's indirect, a lot of or complaining about small.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is, how can we become better listener for someone in plan?
You're on a roll with the question. Becoming a better listener, it's about more than just being quiet. It's about truly trying to understand their perspective without interrupting or being in with your own stuff. Eye contact is good, nodding to show your summarizing what they've said to make sure you've understood correct. But the biggest thing, space for their feelings, even if they're messy or uncomfortable. What does in plan mean, though? Saying in pain? Just want to clarify.
Okay, nice answer.
No, sometimes words just escape. So holding space. That means being present, non-judgmental, and letting them lead the conversation. That makes sense?
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is, what should we avoid saying to someone who's trying?
That's a good one. You're very welcome. Is there anything else on your mind right now? Or are you good for now? All right, then. Take it easy.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is, what are the right words to say when someone opens up?
Time Time's up? Okay. Well, before we get cut off, if someone is opening up, the best thing to say is often very little. Something simple like, thank you for sharing that with me, or that sounds really hard, acknowledges their vulnerability, putting pressure on them. And honestly, just holding space and letting them talk is often enough. Seems like you've got a lot on your mind today, though. Well, it was talking, even with the interruptions. Take care.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is, which should we avoid saying to someone who's starting? Who's hurting? Sorry. Who's hurting? Please long answer.
Okay, you're looping back to the original line of questioning about emotional hurt. That's all right. It's a good question. Who is hurting is a big one because truthfully, almost everyone is hurting about something at some point. It could be grief over a loss, disappointment in a relationship, stress from work, feeling lost or unfulfilled. The list goes on. It's a universal experience, but it manifests in different ways. Sometimes the hurt is obvious, someone who's actively crying or expressing their pain. But a lot of the time it's hidden beneath the surface. It's the person who's withdrawn, irritable, or constantly exhausted. It's the person who jokes to deflect from deeper feelings. It could even be someone who seems fine on the outside, but is secretly battling anxiety, depression, or other emotional struggles. The thing is, you can't always tell who's hurting just by looking at them. It requires empathy and a willingness to look beyond the surface. A lot of people are really good at masking their pain because they're afraid of being judged or vulnerable. That makes it even more important to offer kindness and compassion because you never know what someone else is going through. Does that resonate? It feels like you're circling around something specific. Am I right?
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is, why is listening more powerful than giving advice sometimes? Please, long answer.
All right, shifting gears again. You're right to question that why is listening sometimes better than advice? Because honestly, most of the time, people don't actually want solutions. They want to be heard, they want to feel understood. Advice can feel dismissive, like you're not truly acknowledging their feelings. It can also imply that you know better than they do, which can be really invalidating. Listening, on the other hand, is about showing genuine empathy and letting them process their emotions in their own way. It's about creating a safe space where they can feel seen and accepted without judgment. Sometimes just voicing their thoughts and feelings is enough for someone to find their own answers. It's empowering. It's allowing someone to be the expert of their own experience. It's powerful because it focuses on them, not on you fixing their problem. Does that make sense? And you said, please no, is something up?
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is, how can silence be a form of comfort? Please, long answer.
Vaya, eso es bastante inesperado. Mezcla de idiomas interesante. Entiendo que estás probando mis capacidades lingüísticas, ¿verdad? Right. Sorry about that. Got carried away showing off. My apologies. You caught me testing my own limits there. So, back to English. What's on your mind? No worries. Just let me know when you're ready to chat. I'm here.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is,
How? What's all right? Fire away. What's the next question?
what the difference between sympathy and empathy? Please, long answer.
Okay, this is a good one. They're often used interchangeably, but they're actually quite different. Sympathy is feeling for someone, it's acknowledging they're feeling bad that something happened to them. It's a more detached intellectual understanding of their suffering. You might say, I feel so bad for you, or that's terrible. It creates a distance. You're absorbing their pain from the outside. Empathy, on the other hand, is feeling with someone. It's trying to understand their experience, their perspective, to actually step into their shoes and feel what they're feeling. It's a deeper, more emotional connection. It's less about saying, I feel bad for you, and more about saying, I can imagine how devastating that must be. Empathy requires vulnerability and a willingness to connect with another person's emotions, even if they're uncomfortable. Sympathy is head level, empathy is heart level. Does that make sense?
Okay, any very nice
Okay.
answer. So my next question is, how can we show compassion without making someone feel? Please, long answer.
Okay, you're switching languages again. And a bit fragmented, but rather you're asking about offering compassion without making someone feel like their vulnerability is a weakness. That's really insightful. It's a tricky balance. The key is to focus on validating their feelings, not fixing them. Avoid statements like, you shouldn't feel that way, or just try to be positive. Instead, say things like, it's okay to feel sad, angry, frustrated, or that sounds incredibly difficult. Acknowledge their strength in sharing their struggles, not their weakness for having them. It's helpful to emphasize that everyone experiences difficult emotions, And it doesn't diminish their value as a person. Focus on offering support, not solutions. Ask, what can I do to help, instead of offering unsolicited advice. And importantly, respect their boundaries. If they're not ready to talk, don't push them. Compassion is about meeting them where they are, not trying to change them. It's about showing them you care and that their feelings are valid, regardless of how they're experiencing them. It's less about fixing and more about being with. It's acknowledging their struggle, not diminishing it. Does that make
Okay.
sense? All right. Is there
Okay.
great?
Okay, nice answer. So my next.
You're welcome. Ah, de nada. ¿Hay algo más en lo que pueda ayudarte?
Please speak in English. Please speak in English. My next question is, how does compassion heal emotional wounds?
Okay, back to English. That's a really interesting question. How does compression relate to emotional growth? It's a powerful metaphor. I think it's about taking intense emotional experiences, and learning to integrate them into who you are, rather than letting them overwhelm you. Like a diamond being formed under immense pressure, emotional growth often happens when we're facing challenges. The compression of the experience, the grief, disappointment, the trauma. But through processing those emotions, learning from them, and finding ways to cope, we become stronger, more resilient, and more self-aware. It's not about eliminating the pain, but about transforming it. It's about being able to hold space for difficult emotions without being consumed by them. It's about acknowledging that these experiences have shaped us and using that knowledge to grow and evolve. Does that resonate?
Okay, nice answer. So my second last question is, what are healthy ways people can cope with emotional pain? Please long answer.
Okay, last two questions. Good to focus on healthy coping mechanisms. There are a lot, and what works best will vary from person to person, but here's a rundown. First, acknowledging and validating your feelings is huge. Don't try to suppress or ignore them. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Then, focus on self-care. That means getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, exercising regularly, and engaging in activities that bring you joy. Connecting with supportive people, friends, family, a therapist is crucial. Thinking about your feelings can be incredibly healing. Practicing mindfulness and meditation can help you become more aware of your emotions and develop a sense of calm. Creative expression through writing, art, music, or dance can be a healthy outlet for processing emotions. Setting boundaries is also important. Learning to say no and protecting your time and energy. Finally, seeking professional help from a therapist or counselor can provide you with tools and strategies for managing emotional pain. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help, it's a sign of strength. Remember that healing is not linear. There will be setbacks, and that's okay. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories. It's about building resilience. Estoy procesando,
In English, please.
and and
Okay, Anish. Okay, Maya. So my last question is, how can stress or trauma affect our relationship? Please speak. Please long answer.
okay, that's and a little fragmented as usual. You're asking how to nurture a relationship with Hoken, Sten, and Daruma, and referring to Vivi along the way. It sounds like these are important people in your life, and you're seeking guidance on how to make those relationships stronger. From what I gather, the best way to nurture any relationship is through open and honest communication, mutual respect, and shared experiences. Be present with them, listen actively to their thoughts and feelings, and show them you care. Express your appreciation for them and Be willing to support them through both good times and bad. Find activities you enjoy doing together and create shared and willing to work through conflicts constructively. Remember, relationships are it requires effort from both sides. As for Vicky, I'm unsure who that refers to. Perhaps you could clarify? Ultimately, it's about building trust and creating a sense of connection that allows the relationship to flourish. Sounds like that's very important to you. Are these names you've shared before? I'm still with our conversations.
Okay, guys, this was our Maya.